This slide shows the transition from retrieval to prompting. An augmented prompt typically contains three major elements: instructions, the user question, and the retrieved context. The instructions tell the model how to behave. The user question defines the task. The retrieved context provides the evidence base from which the model should answer. These elements are assembled into a structured prompt and passed to the language model. This step is critical because retrieval alone does not create a usable answer. The retrieved chunks must be organized into a form the model can interpret correctly. Prompt design matters here. The ordering of the context matters. The clarity of the instructions matters. The amount of context matters. So prompt construction is not separate from system design. It is part of the architecture. At this stage, we are effectively turning a search result into a temporary working memory for the model. That is what allows the answer to be grounded in relevant evidence rather than vague model intuition. Now let us examine a concrete example. The prompt begins with a role instruction. The model is told to behave as a helpful assistant. More importantly, it is instructed to answer only using the provided context. It is also told to say clearly when the answer is not present in the context. That last instruction is very important. It reduces hallucination by allowing the model to admit uncertainty instead of inventing unsupported claims. Then we see the user question, followed by retrieved context in chunk form, and finally a task instruction specifying the expected output. This structure is strong because it separates the components clearly. The model knows what the question is, what evidence it may use, and what behavior is required. A weak prompt often mixes these things together loosely. A strong prompt organizes them explicitly. In practical engineering, this kind of structure can significantly improve answer reliability. Let us now apply the same structure to the Acme Corporation use case. The user asks about the company's main risks in the reporting year. The prompt tells the model that it is acting as a financial analysis assistant and that it must answer only using the provided context. The retrieved context includes chunks mentioning supply chain disruption, foreign exchange volatility, regulatory uncertainty, and related market exposures. This changes the model's task significantly. The model is no longer trying to guess what risks a typical company might face. Instead, it is synthesizing the answer directly from evidence extracted from the relevant documents. That is the core value of RAG. Instead of relying mainly on the model's general background knowledge, we turn the answer into an evidence-based response tied to a specific document collection. In domains such as finance, law, policy, and education, that distinction is essential. This slide highlights one of the most important practical lessons in RAG design. A weak prompt simply asks the question. A grounded prompt gives instructions, restricts the answer to the provided context, and explicitly tells the model what to do if evidence is missing. That difference is not cosmetic. It changes the behavior of the model. Without grounding, the model is free to rely on prior patterns, background assumptions, or plausible-sounding generalizations. With grounding, it is encouraged to stay within the evidence provided. This is why weak prompts often lead to impressive-sounding but unreliable outputs. A strong RAG prompt makes the source of truth explicit. This slide is also useful pedagogically because it invites students to imagine the kinds of failure a weak prompt may produce. That kind of reflection helps them understand that model behavior is shaped not only by retrieval quality, but also by instruction quality. A good RAG system needs both. Now we bring the whole architecture together. The top half of the diagram represents offline preparation, data source, ingestion, chunking, embedding, and storage in the vector database. The bottom half represents online answering, user query, query embedding, retrieval, augmented prompt, language model, and answer. The vector database connects these two worlds. This full view is important because it reinforces a central engineering message. RAG is not one component. It is an integrated pipeline. Every stage influences downstream performance. If the answer is poor, you need a way to isolate where the weakness comes from. Is it ingestion, chunking, embedding choice, retrieval ranking, prompt construction, or generation itself? This architecture gives you that debugging map. So when you think about RAG, do not think only about the model. Think about the whole life cycle that links document preparation to evidence-backed answering. That systems perspective is the correct way to understand RAG. No engineered system is complete without evaluation, and RAG is no exception. This slide shows evaluation as a loop. We start with a query set, run the RAG system, generate answers, evaluate the outputs, analyze retrieval and answer quality, and then improve the pipeline. This loop matters because many RAG failures are not caused by the language model itself. They come from bad chunking, weak retrieval, noisy context, or poor prompt design. Evaluation helps us determine which stage is failing. This is a very important mindset. In AI engineering, if you cannot measure a system, you cannot improve it systematically. So, the role of evaluation is diagnostic as much as it is comparative. It tells us whether retrieved chunks are relevant, whether answers are faithful, whether hallucinations occur, and where refinement should be applied. The best RAG systems are not built in one pass. They are improved through careful evaluation loops like the one shown here. There are two broad categories of quality we evaluate in RAG systems. The first is retrieval quality. This includes metrics such as recall at K, precision at K, mean reciprocal rank, hit rate, and general context relevance. These tell us whether the retriever is surfacing the right evidence. The second is answer quality. This includes faithfulness, correctness, completeness, citation grounding, and hallucination rate. These tell us whether the final answer is actually supported by the evidence and useful to the user. It is important to keep these two categories conceptually separate. A model might retrieve excellent chunks and still generate a poor answer, or it might retrieve weak chunks and occasionally answer correctly by luck. So a RAG system cannot be judged by answer quality alone. It must be analyzed both as a retrieval system and as a generation system. That is why RAG is truly a system problem rather than just a model problem. Let us look at a simple but revealing failure case. In the Acme example, the user asks about the main risks in the reporting year, but the system answers that the chief executive's salary increased. This is clearly wrong, but the important question is not just that it failed. The important question is how it failed. Most likely, both retrieval quality and answer alignment failed. The retriever may have surfaced an irrelevant chunk, perhaps because keyword overlap or poor ranking pulled the wrong section. Then the generator may have taken that irrelevant context and produced an answer not aligned with the actual user question. This is a useful classroom example because it shows that RAG must be debugged as an architecture, not as a single black box. If students learn to ask which stage failed and why, they begin to think like system engineers rather than tool users. When you debug a RAG system, always start upstream. Ask whether the document parser extracted the text correctly. Ask whether chunk boundaries make sense. Ask whether metadata was preserved. Ask whether the embedding model suits the domain vocabulary. Ask whether retrieval ranking is selecting relevant content. These are the most common early failure points. For example, if the parser destroys tables or headings, retrieval may never have a fair chance. If chunk boundaries are poor, relevant concepts may be split badly. If metadata is missing, filtering and citation become difficult. If the embedding model does not understand the domain, semantic retrieval may degrade sharply. This is why the investigator's note on the slide is important. When answers are bad, do not immediately tweak the prompt. First, inspect the retrieved chunks. Ask a basic question. Did the system even retrieve the right evidence? That habit saves time and leads to more disciplined debugging. Now suppose retrieval is reasonably good, but the answer is still weak. Then the next likely failure region is prompt construction and answer synthesis. Too much context in the prompt can confuse the model. Weak instructions can fail to constrain behavior. Poor ordering of context can bury the most relevant evidence. On the generation side, the model may omit key facts, fail to synthesize across chunks, or hallucinate connections that are not actually supported by the evidence. This is why prompt design remains important, even in strong retrieval systems. There is also a practical lesson here. More context is not always better. If irrelevant material is inserted, the model may become distracted. The challenge is not just to retrieve enough evidence, but to supply the right evidence in a clear structure. So again, the main lesson is architectural separation. Debug each stage separately rather than blaming the model immediately. That is how reliable systems are improved. At this stage, we can now appreciate the real strengths of RAG. First, it supports grounded answers by using external evidence. Second, it allows knowledge to be updated without retraining the language model. Third, it improves explainability by making source attribution possible. It is also highly practical for enterprise and institutional use, because it works well over private corpora. Instead of rebuilding the model whenever documents change, we update the index knowledge base. This is a huge advantage in real environments where content evolves continuously. Another major strength is reduced hallucination when retrieval is strong and prompts are grounded properly. The system can remain anchored to inspectable evidence instead of relying entirely on internal model memory. So the most important advantage is this: RAG connects language generation to a changing knowledge base. That is what makes it one of the most practical AI architecture patterns in use today. But strong engineering always includes understanding limitations. A standard RAG system does not inherently plan. It does not naturally perform multi-step decision-making. It does not usually use tools unless additional architecture is added. And in many cases, retrieval is one pass. That means the system often retrieves once and answers once. If that first retrieval is weak, the answer may also be weak. RAG is therefore retrieval dependent. Weak retrieval hurts everything downstream. It is also context limited because the prompt still has finite capacity. Even with relevant chunks, synthesis may be weak if context is too large or poorly organized. So RAG is powerful, but it is not a full autonomous agent architecture. That distinction matters because some tasks require more than evidence-backed answering. They require planning, tool use, iteration, and reflective control. That limitation is what motivates the transition to the next architectural layer. This slide acts as a bridge. So far, RAG has allowed us to retrieve evidence and generate grounded answers. That is powerful, but many real-world tasks require more than a single retrieval step. Some tasks involve looking something up, making a decision, querying another source, validating the result, and then revising the answer. That kind of behavior involves planning and iteration. So this comparison matters because it shows the boundary between traditional RAG and more capable systems. Traditional RAG is excellent when the answer can be found and synthesized directly from retrieved documents. But when the task requires multiple steps, tool interaction, or adaptive reasoning, we need a more agent-like architecture. That is why the next step is not simply better retrieval. It is more capable system behavior. This is the conceptual bridge from RAG to agentic RAG. Now let us make the contrast explicit. Traditional RAG retrieves context and answers. Agentic RAG can retrieve, decide, iterate, and use tools. Traditional RAG is usually one pass. Agentic RAG can support multi-step orchestration. Traditional RAG often has lower complexity and is well suited for question answering over document collections. Agentic RAG is more complex but better suited to workflows where the system must plan, act, and reassess. This comparison is not about declaring one universally better than the other. It is about architectural fit. If the task is straightforward document-grounded question answering, traditional RAG may be entirely appropriate. If the task involves chaining retrieval with external tools, reflection loops, or intermediate decisions, a more agentic design may be required. So this slide helps students understand not only what RAG is, but where its boundaries lie in the broader AI systems landscape. Let us summarize the lecture. We began by identifying the limitations of standalone language models and the motivation for retrieval-augmented generation. We then examined the offline path: ingestion, chunking, embedding, and indexing. After that, we studied the online path: query embedding, retrieval, prompt construction, and grounded answer generation. We also compared dense retrieval and lexical retrieval, introduced hybrid search, and looked at evaluation loops and typical failure points. The key takeaway is very important. RAG is not simply vector search plus a language model. It is a carefully engineered pipeline linking document preparation, semantic representation, retrieval logic, prompt construction, and evaluation. That systems view is the central lesson of this lecture. When students understand RAG in that way, they are no longer just using a pattern. They are able to design, analyze, and improve it as engineers. Now it is your turn to think like architects. The exercise is to design a RAG system for a university knowledge assistant. Start by identifying the data sources. These might include lecture slides, course syllabi, regulations, announcements, frequently asked questions, and research documents. Then think about chunking strategy. Would lecture slides be chunked by slide, by heading, or by topic unit? What kind of embedding model would you choose? What vector database would you use? Would pure semantic retrieval be enough, or would hybrid search be better because of exact course codes and institutional terminology? Finally, think about evaluation. How would you know whether the system actually helps students rather than merely sounding helpful? This exercise is valuable because it forces you to translate theory into design choices. That is exactly what engineering education should do. If you want to deepen your understanding, the next step is practice and controlled experimentation. Study study frameworks and documentation related to RAG evaluation, indexing, and hybrid retrieval. But more importantly, build a small prototype and vary one design choice at a time. For example, take one PDF and compare fixed size chunking with heading-aware chunking. Then compare dense retrieval only with hybrid retrieval. Ask the same question under each setup and inspect the retrieved evidence. This is where understanding becomes real. You will often discover that small design changes in chunking or retrieval strategy have a large impact on answer quality. That insight is much stronger when observed experimentally than when only read in theory. So use the suggested resources as a starting point, but make sure to test and observe the behavior yourself. That is how engineering intuition develops. In the next lecture, we move from RAG to agentic RAG. This is the point where retrieval systems begin to evolve into more capable AI systems that can plan, make intermediate decisions, invoke tools, and operate through iterative workflows rather than a single-pass answer process. Today we focused on evidence-backed generation. Next, we will focus on decision-capable architectures. That transition is important because it shows how AI systems progress from search-augmented answering to more flexible and mission-oriented behavior. So the next lecture builds directly on what we studied today. A strong understanding of RAG is the foundation for understanding agentic systems. Make sure the logic of today's pipeline is clear, because we will extend it rather than replace it. This concludes the lecture. At this point, you should be able to explain the structure of a RAG system, identify its main components, understand its strengths and limits, and reason about where quality problems may emerge. Most importantly, you should now see RAG as an engineering pipeline rather than a vague AI feature. That perspective matters. Reliable AI systems are built by designing data preparation, retrieval, prompting, and evaluation together. When those pieces align, the system becomes much more trustworthy and useful. In the next lecture, we will extend this foundation into agentic RAG and examine how retrieval systems become more adaptive and more capable. Thank you, and I will see you in the next class.